Selecting an evidence-based program. What do we mean when we say a program is evidence-based? Evidence-based is a term that is used frequently by program providers, policymakers, program developers, and the media. In this video, we will briefly describe how research evidence is established and why that evidence provides high levels of confidence in program outcomes. A defining characteristic of the evidence-based program is that it has been proven effective, and the key to proving program effectiveness is to use an experimental design like a randomized controlled trial. Here's an example that shows a treatment group that will receive an experimental program and a control group that won't, each with 50 participants that have been randomly assigned to one group or the other. Only by analyzing both groups before and after the program can we say whether the treatment program is responsible for any effects we might see. Analyzing enough people and ensuring they are randomly assigned to treatment or control group is important too. This gives us statistical confidence that the results of the study are real and not a fluke, and that the study was a fair representation of the effects we can expect in the real world. Studies of evidence-based programs describe the effects a program has over time. Here we have an example, a chart for the SFP 10 to 14 program compared to a control group. You can see at month 0, before the program began, that the two groups do not differ on lifetime cigarette use. But over time, the control group has higher rates of lifetime cigarette use than the SFP group, and this difference emerges around 12 months after the program and is sustained over time, gradually decreasing toward the 72-month mark 6 years after the program was delivered. Typically, to be considered evidence-based, programs should sustain effects at least 6 months past the program end, ideally 12 months or longer. Once we have findings from rigorous studies that have used random assignment, pre- and post-test assessments using valid measures, and appropriate data analysis, we can have a high level of confidence in the findings that result. Here we turn to the continuum of confidence, which illustrates a range of possible findings from research and evaluations on programs. At the far left and right ends of the continuum, we have confidence in the research findings because of the high quality of research. On the right-hand side, we are confident that the program is effective. Examples include life skills training and SFP 10 to 14. But on the left side are examples of programs that also have high-quality research, but that demonstrate harm and ineffectiveness. These include programs such as Scared Straight and DARE. Remember that just because a program has had research done on it doesn't automatically make it a good program. It simply means that we have data that let us know whether the program is effective, ineffective, or even harmful. When multiple studies demonstrate similar outcomes for a program, we can place programs at the high confidence ends of the continuum, particularly if one of those studies was done by someone other than the person who developed the program. When a study includes larger sample sizes with diverse participants, we can be more confident that the program will be effective in the diverse communities of real-world settings. So we've covered several of the critical advantages of evidence-based programs, but you still might be tempted to invest time and money into programs that don't meet these standards. By taking on such programs, you risk a number of serious pitfalls. The first is believing that a program is effective without having the data to support that belief. Frankly, it is easier to believe a program is effective without going through the trouble of evaluating it or understanding evaluation results. It is also easier to believe that personal, anecdotal evidence is all the evidence you need. However, if resources are going to a program, then we should make sure it is worth the effort by having strong data to back up our beliefs. Another pitfall is mistaking participant or facilitator liking of a program with evidence of actual effectiveness. Obviously, we want our participants and facilitators to enjoy the program, but whether a participant would recommend the program to a friend is not the same thing as an evaluation that demonstrates sustained, improved attitudes towards substance use over 2 years or more. It is critical to not confuse liking with improving. A third pitfall is providing programming because we just need to do something. All too often, a program is created or adopted in response to a high-profile crisis. Although it is absolutely critical for communities to organize and respond to local issues, it is also essential that they do so with actual comprehensive data on community needs, information on local resources, and with an eye toward programs with a strong evidence base, or programs similar to those with a strong evidence base. In fact, those are the key steps to improving public health. I'd like to remind folks that we don't necessarily need more programs in communities, but we do need to be using more effective programs in communities. Another pitfall is to use a locally developed program that has no evaluation and without putting an evaluation plan into place. As an implementation support center, we are very aware that there is not an evidence-based program for every need, and that communities can't necessarily wait until one shows up to address their need. Locally, programs can be just as effective as evidence-based programs. However, it is imperative to evaluate them. Many well-intentioned, locally developed programs have been evaluated and found to be harmful. So when you take a chance on programs that aren't evidence-based, you risk harming the very people you intend to help. You can end up eroding public trust and confidence in the services and programs we provide, and waste the precious resources we have to put toward these efforts. To recap, evidence-based programs have proven their effectiveness through rigorous research trials that include random assignment to treatment and control groups, use of valid pre- and post-test measures, appropriate data analyses, sustained effects over time, and replications of findings in other equally rigorous research trials with other populations, and ideally also by an independent researcher. By using these high standards of evidence, we can have a high level of confidence that findings on program impact are, in fact, attributable to the program and not to issues of normal development, pre-existing differences at pretest, or other characteristics of study participants.